I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
Donald Trump has just dropped a bombshell, unveiling a new economic plan that could spell disaster for John Deere and other manufacturing giants. In a fiery speech that sent shockwaves through the business world, Trump declared war on American companies shifting production overseas, threatening extreme economic measures that could reshape the entire industry. At the center of this political storm is John Deere, the iconic U.S. farming equipment company that has recently come under fire for its decision to relocate production to Mexico. But Trump's latest announcement takes his feud with John Deere to a whole new level. Standing before a crowd of blue-collar workers, farmers, and business owners, Trump didn't hold back. He accused companies like John Deere of abandoning American workers and prioritizing corporate greed over national loyalty. His solution? A sweeping new tariff policy that would punish any company outsourcing jobs while rewarding those that commit to keeping their factories and their workers on American soil.
I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States.
His message was clear. If American companies want to sell their products to American consumers, they better make them in America. And if they don't, Trump vowed to make them pay the price. This new plan, which is expected to drastically impact manufacturers like John Deere, could change the game for global supply chains, pushing companies to rethink their entire production strategies. Trump's proposal not only includes a massive tariff on foreign-made goods, but also new tax incentives for companies that return manufacturing to the U.S. and penalties for those that don't. For John Deere, this is a nightmare scenario. The company has spent years building its global manufacturing network, cutting costs by moving some of its production south of the border. Now, Trump's economic crusade is forcing Deere to make a difficult choice: reverse course and bring those jobs back home, or face crippling tariffs that could make their products unaffordable for American farmers. John Deere, which has long been a symbol of American industrial strength, is now caught in the middle of a political and economic war. The company has defended its decision to move some operations to Mexico, arguing that it helps them remain competitive in a cutthroat international market. Deere executives have stated that less than 5% of their U.S. sold products are made in Mexico, downplaying the impact of the shift. But for Trump and his supporters, even 5% is too much. To them, John Deere's move is just another example of corporate betrayal, and they see Trump's new plan as a necessary step to keep American jobs from disappearing. The farming industry now finds itself in a difficult position. Farmers, the backbone of Trump's voter base, have long been loyal to John Deere, relying on their tractors and equipment for generations. But they are also frustrated with the company's shift to foreign manufacturing. With inflation, rising costs, and unpredictable crop yields, many farmers are already struggling to afford new equipment. If Trump's tariffs go into effect, the price of John Deere tractors could skyrocket, forcing them to either pay more or switch brands. If John Deere chooses to fight back against Trump's plan, they risk losing a huge portion of their U.S. customer base. Farmers and rural workers who have long supported the Buy American movement, farm movement, might see churros selling out and turn to competing brands instead. And this is exactly where Trump's bigger strategy comes into play. His economic war against John Deere isn't just about one company, it's about setting a precedent. If John Deere backs down and keeps its production in the U.S., it sends a clear warning to other companies: move jobs overseas, and you'll face the consequences. But if John Deere resists, Trump has already hinted at further action, including government contracts and subsidies being pulled from companies that refuse to comply with his America First manufacturing policy. In short, Trump is forcing companies to choose sides: either stand with American workers or risk losing government protection and economic advantages. As this battle escalates, it raises broader questions about the future of American manufacturing. For decades, companies have been shifting production overseas to cut costs, take advantage of lower wages, and streamline supply chains. This has led to cheaper goods for consumers, but it has also contributed to the decline of traditional manufacturing jobs in the U.S. Trump's plan challenges this trend head-on, arguing that American businesses should prioritize national interests over cost-cutting measures. But is it really that simple? While Trump's policy might sound appealing to American workers, it also carries serious risks. For one, moving manufacturing back to the U.S. isn't as easy as flipping a switch. Modern factories rely on specialized supply chains, many of which span multiple countries. Breaking those chains could result in higher prices, inefficiencies, and logistical nightmares for companies trying to keep up with demand. There's also the issue of automation. Even if John Deere and other manufacturers bring jobs back to the U.S., that doesn't necessarily mean hiring thousands of new workers. In today's world, factories are increasingly automated, using robots and AI-driven machinery to perform tasks that once required human labor. This means that even if production returns, it may not translate into the large-scale job creation that Trump is promising. Beyond John Deere, other major corporations are now watching closely. If Trump succeeds in forcing Deere to cave, who's next? Will Ford, Tesla, and other major manufacturers also find themselves forced to rethink their business models? Trump has already hinted that this is just the beginning. In private meetings with industry leaders, he has reportedly warned that any company outsourcing jobs will face the same fate as John Deere. This means that major automakers, tech companies, and industrial manufacturers are all now weighing whether they should get ahead of Trump's new economic policies or risk becoming his next target. This could signal a massive shift in U.S. manufacturing. If Trump's pressure campaign works, companies may start relocating their production back to the U.S., but at what cost? Some experts warn that this will result in higher prices for consumers, massive government subsidies to keep jobs afloat, and even job losses in other industries that depend on affordable supply chains. While Trump's plan focuses on punishing companies that move production overseas, his administration has also signaled a willingness to offer financial incentives for companies that commit to keeping jobs in America. Tax breaks, grants, and federal contracts could be used as leverage to encourage companies to stay, but these programs would come at a cost to taxpayers. Critics argue that while keeping jobs in the U.S. is a worthy goal, it shouldn't come at the expense of economic efficiency or government overreach. Meanwhile, John Deere is running out of time to make a decision. If the company holds its ground, it could face not only steep tariffs, but also a public relations nightmare. Farmers who once swore by John Deere equipment may begin looking elsewhere, turning to foreign competitors like Kubota, Mahindra, or Claas. If those companies can offer similar products at lower prices, John Deere could see its dominance in the U.S. farming market begin to erode. At the same time, John Deere executives are likely weighing their legal options. The company could challenge Trump's tariffs in court, arguing that they violate international trade agreements, such as the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement. If successful, this could delay or even block the tariffs from taking effect. However, such a move would put John Deere in direct conflict with Trump's administration, further alienating its U.S. customer base. If John Deere caves and reverses its decision, it could face another problem: massive financial losses. Moving production is an expensive process, and reversing course would mean scrapping investments already made in Mexico. Supply chains would need to be rebuilt, contracts renegotiated, and factories restructured. This would be a costly and time-consuming process, one that could eat into the company's bottom line for years to come. One thing is clear: this battle is far from over. And as Trump continues to ramp up his economic war on outsourcing, the stakes are only getting higher. So what do you think? Is Trump's new plan a bold move to protect American jobs? Or is it a dangerous gamble that could hurt the economy? Should John Deere fight back, or will they be forced to comply? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this massive showdown between Trump, John Deere, and the future of U.S. manufacturing.